What is up, guys? So this week I thought it'd be interesting to do a video in our mythology be on the underworld. So I know that's a question that a lot of people have, was what was the ancient Greek view of the underworld other than Hades and Persephone being the king and queen of the underworld and so forth. So it's got a little bit of the underworld in this book right here, Epic Tales, Greek Myths and Tales. So we're going to be reading and see what it says about the underworld on this week's episode. I thought that'd be pretty cool. So it says that the afterlife was of great importance to the ancient Greeks. Beyond the grave and funeral pyre lay a land of shadows, the underworld. It was ruled by Hades, the brother of Zeus and Poseidon, who also gave his name to the dark realm. Because the gloomy underworld was opposed to bright heavenly Olympus, Hades was not accepted as an Olympian god, and his servants were never invited to sup in Zeus's palace. The dead souls are taken by Hermes, messenger of the gods, down through the gloomy caves and long, winding underground paths until they come to 5 rivers. First, they must be ferried by Charon across the Black River Styx to the gates of Hades, which are guarded by the 3-headed hound Cerberus, or Cerberus, as a lot of people would say. Once inside, they must then cross 4 more rivers: Black Acheron, then Phlegethon, salt-tiered Cocytus, and then Lethe. So Acheron is woe, Phlegethon is fire, salty-tiered Cocytus is wailing, and Lethe is oblivion, if you want to know what that is. Unless the souls have money put inside the corpse's mouth to pay the ferryman, the guests will be left to wander for 100 years on the far side of the Styx. Once across the 5 infernal rivers, the dead go before the 3 stern judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, who help Hades assess people's lives and determine their fate. So I got something to say at the end of this video, BTW, that ties into this whole discussion. Exceptional heroes might find themselves assigned to the blissful Elysian fields, also known as the Isle of the Blessed, far off in the western seas, where they can relive the joys of life without the memory of their sins or all the bad things they've done. And for those whose crimes are bad enough to warrant a sentence to eternal punishment, there are special torments in the darkest regions of Erebus and Tartarus, where they are deprived of oblivion, being eternally reminded of their wrongdoings. So this is true of King Tantalus, who we know where we get the word tantalizing from. So King Tantalus stole nectar and ambrosia from the gods, and his punishment was to find that food and drink are always just beyond his grasp. Hence the word tantalizing. And those who have done evil are also handed over to the 3 merciless furies before being led off to their appointed torment. So this is basically what we would consider to be hell. So for the common dead, the average Joe, neither very good or bad, so literally your average person, their sad fate is to dwell forever in the shadowy gloom. On occasion, they may gain a glimpse of the strange garden of Persephone, queen of the underworld, and with its bloomless poppies, pale beds of rushes, and green grapes, which she crushes into deadly wine. Few heroes or gods manage to venture down into Hades in return. Those that do often meet a sad fate, and we're going to talk about those 3 real fast. So the 3 best known figures to achieve this was Heracles, Orpheus, and Persephone. Heracles' last test is to bring the hound Cerberus. He is led by Hermes to a cave near Sparta, from where he descends into Hades, passing the Fates and Furies, eventually coming to the gloomy palace of King Hades and Queen Persephone. Hades gives him the hound to see if he can overcome it, with his bare hands, and he does so, but returns it to Hades, having accomplished his mission. Orpheus, the greatest of all singers, is grief-stricken when his beloved Eurydice dies. So he goes with his lyre to the underworld and persuades Hades to let Eurydice return to the earth. Hades agrees, but there is one condition. Orpheus must not look back as he leads his wife out. And sadly, at the exit, he looks around at her, and she has returned to Hades forever. And we'll talk about the Orpheus story maybe next week, because to me that's the most tragic of all the mythology stories. Super sad. And in his grief, he pledges never to remarry, and a band of women suitors angrily cut him to pieces. Yet, even after his death, his head and lyre continue to sing and play. So yeah, so talking about the afterlife and the underworld. So basically, no matter who you are, you go to the underworld. And the underworld is not a place of demons and devils the way it is in Christian mythology. The one to fear is Tartaros, which is for the wicked people in the world. And if you go to the Elysian Fields, I think people would be surprised how few make it to what we would consider heaven or the Elysian Fields, because the average person goes into the meadows where you're basically just, you exist. And it's not good or bad, it's just existence, basically. So, on top, so the connection I was going to say, so I did a video that talks more about the 5 rivers and the judges that judge you about where you're going to go in your afterlife. And I want to say, I'm going to put it in the description on the bottom, I'm going to put the link. I did a video, it's called I'm Dead, or I've Died, Now What? And it's about when you die, what the Greeks used to believe as the underworld, and it has a lot of sounds and video and images and all that stuff. And I'm really proud of that old video I did. It was one of the ones I did in my first year on this channel. Really cool stuff, I think, and I think you guys would enjoy it. It goes into more detail. So anyway, there you go, guys. So that is the brief description of the Greek underworld, a place that no one really looked forward to going, but it was the ultimate destination of everyone. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you can leave comments about your ideas of the underworld and afterlife, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.